So Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens have been having a bit of a cat fight. That's what Marvel's was. It was 2 hours of and then I'm sorry I ran at you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you know what was interesting to me is that Ben Shapiro, he lives in Florida, and the rest of them are in Nashville.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Candace Owens was saying when they were fighting is she was like, she kind of did she goes, everyone's been noticing that Ben's been weird because they see each other every day, right?
Yeah.
And this is why you can't work from home. Like literally, Ben Shapiro probably say, he goes, everyone at the office will be over there. I'll stay in my Florida. I'll see them every now and then. Mm-hmm. They're developing rapport, and they're fucking, the hordes are turning against him.
Well, though I guess I watched like a little bit of her thing on Tucker Carlson, and she's like, because I guess everybody thinks he's like the owner and runs it, but he doesn't. Like he's just.
I didn't think that. I thought he owns a big part of it,
or whatever. But like
he owns like half of it.
I don't know. The way she explained it is, she's like, yeah, he has some sort of whatever.
It's him and that Jeremy guy that owns it.
Yeah, but he has. I don't know if that's true. Actually,
it is.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, the way she explained it was like he's just like he has his show.
No, I think probably what you're.
But she's like, he's not my boss.
He's not her boss, but he's an owner.
Yeah, or whatever. But he's not her boss.
Okay, I got news for you. Ben Shapiro's word of who goes and stays means a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
he's not.
He would look so bad.
Because he's not the CEO.
Yeah, he's not the CEO exactly.
But he is an owner.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's like that's a million places. You know what I mean? But if a big shareholder starts being like this goes, you fucking
he can't though. That would just look so bad.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's in a rock and a hard place.
Also, what did you think when you hired Candace Owens and you wouldn't be getting into some spats?
I think that they always thought that the Israel stuff wouldn't become the I will say Jews are on the chopping block right now.
Oh, dude, I've found it the funniest thing too, because when the war broke out, and then like I think Jews, like for at least some the pro-Israel ones, were like, oh man, we're gonna be the thing. Like, we're gonna be the new current thing.
It's gonna be the Israel Square.
All the Jews, like all the Jews you see, like their minds like melting, like the Rappaports, the Brett Gelmans.
You've been loving Rappaport.
They were like, we're gonna be Ukraine, and then the next day you're like, no, you're Russia, and they're like, what? They're like, no, we're Ukraine. You go, no, you're Russia.
Rappaport. There was a pretty funny meme where it was like China basically saying TikTok's bad, kids are getting radicalized or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it said like, oh, you're being crazy, and then 2 years later, I support Osama bin Laden and I'm trans. Osama bin Laden's so hot right now.
Yeah, that's crazy, and TikTok's been deleting all the. TikTok's been deleting like all of the Osama bin Laden stuff content.
Well, I'll say probably one that we know or like kind of in our world is very aware of the idea that when they were like, you hate us for our freedom, and you're like, well, that's not what he said.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, David Cross had a joke about it like in like 2005.
Yeah, it's pretty like known thing.
I guess it wasn't.
That's people just believe the slop.
I guess like that, because that's what I'm like. Yeah, you literally thought he like did this for like nobody does anything for no reason. Like nobody does. Like they don't just. There's obviously some sort of reason behind it, but it was just like I guess people's like affinity towards like they're like, oh my god, I'll never look at Osama bin Laden the same way again. Like the way they were kind of just like the words they were using. You're like, yeah, I'm sure he. But also, you're like, you eventually just want.
I just didn't realize. I'll tell you what I didn't realize is how much he talked about the Jews. I didn't really realize that. I mean, I knew that he was kind of, we want America to bankrupt themselves and all these foreign wars America's on. I didn't realize the extent to which he had Israel popped in there.
Well, I guess they don't like Israel over there. They don't. I mean, like again, Israel is. I always think about it. If you ever see Eddie Murphy's Delirious. And then he does the thing about like the family, like the black family and the white family, and like Poltergeist, where like the white family goes to the house and they're like, get out, and they're like, oh, I think we should stay here or whatever, and the black family's like, we gotta go or whatever. Like literally nobody wants Israel there. Like they're surrounded by all these people who are like, get out, and they're like, nah, we're gonna stick this one out, and like
no one wants them there for sure. The worst spot.
It's like, yeah.
So Rappaport but Ben Shapiro's been like, he's full all in.
Yeah, of course.
I know, but the other people there aren't.
No.
And like Elon Musk, I don't know if you saw what he tweeted.
Yeah. His response to like the whatever tweet,
which is kind of basically,
he was just basically like, I think he was, just trying to say like the anti-white stuff. He's like, the anti-white stuff has been.
Well, he's kind of saying this is why people aren't like joining your side, because like all of the big Jewish organizations were like pushing.
Yeah, he's like, the ADL has been like the super anti-white thing, and you're like, dude, and now that fucking
did you see Jonathan Greenblatt on TV?
Oh my god!
What the fuck?
Now he's like, oh, these fucking you libs in your safe spaces.
I didn't know what I thought I was having a melt.
Everything is like, we're in a snow globe right now that is just getting like shaken as hard as possible.
When I thought Jonathan Greenblatt go on a fucking interview and he goes, it's all about these safe spaces. I go, you're the guy who personally deplatformed many people that I know. Mm-hmm. I know many people that are not, they were banned from every platform because the fucking ADL put them on the hate list and then everyone used that hate list. And that guy, he goes, it's the fucking university. He goes, it's the oppression Olympics, he said.
I know. He's like, Gad sad play, like all this stuff.
I go, is this a fucking FaceTime?
It's insane.
Does he think everyone's has like a fucking memory of a squirrel?
Yeah. Well, it's just like he's reaping what he sows, is what you would say right now.
Yeah, but just shut up. All you should do, like, honestly.
Yeah, you're just like literally resign and put someone in charge.
And then,
like, honestly, like, resign from the ADL, put me in charge.
Go, I was wrong.
Yeah, put me in charge. I'll fucking write this whole ship. We'll stop.
What would you do?
Well, obviously, all the like, the funniest thing.
I mean, like, we're not doing the no white people days done.
Yeah, the all white people are bad thing is not working out. I even said, like, I used to do a joke about this, like, probably like 6 or 7 years ago when all the diversity stuff started, and I was like, yeah, you want to start punishing white people for their skin color? I'm like, those are the people who like kind of invented punishing you for your skin color. I'm like, that's a bad idea, and like that's really coming home to roost right now because people are fucking like fairly so not happy. But then he goes, what's going on right now? He's like, we're at the bottom, basically. You're like, yeah, with white people. Like he goes, what the hell's going on right now? He goes, Jews are at the bottom of the pyramid or whatever. And you're like, yeah, you're with white people because that's kind of like the way you fucking work this whole system out.
You were pushing it.
Yeah, you were pushing it. And then everybody's like, well, Jews are against white. And then like there's only like a very small sliver of people who are really like Jews aren't white.
I thought I was fucking having an aneurysm watching that.
Love it.
I couldn't believe that. But yeah, I mean, literally, we've probably said this a lot of times.
Sacha Baron Cohen did a thing today.
What did he say?
Yesterday.
Did Sacha Baron Cohen say?
Sacha Baron, so all these Jewish.
Let me guess. Hold on. Let me guess what he said before you tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. He came out, Sacha Baron Cohen. He was as Borat.
No, not as Borat. No, it wasn't a public. It wasn't a public thing. It was a private meeting. 10 comedians with TikTok, essentially excoriating TikTok for like.
He said there's 2 genders.
Tops. No, they're all just like now like TikTok's the problem. That's
what Sacha Baron Cohen said.
Sacha Baron Cohen goes, you know why people don't like Jews right now? TikTok.
But there is some truth to saying that the fucking, the call's coming from inside the house a little bit.
Sure. Like, no question. You're like, you reap what you sow.
Dude, they're fucking at the like parade, like as the ringleaders of all this stuff.
Yeah.
That is so. I'm having a hard time, not hard time, but like watching some of this stuff, and I'm just like, are you fucking with me, or are you just that unaware?
No, they're not.
Or I think some of them think you're so stupid.
No, they were. I legitimately like. I think I'm like they don't see far ahead. Like they don't see like how this plays out. They never thought you're like, if we do all this stuff now.
But why? He's probably not a stupid guy. No, like he's obviously the head of some huge organization.
But some people are
like,
very sheltered. Some people do live in these like super sheltered like bubbles where you're like you don't. And then when you get a lot of hate, he gets so much hate where he can't even really analyze it. So it's like, it's almost one of those things where he just goes, oh, everybody hates me because I'm Jewish. And you're like, no, they're like, they hate you because of the things you're doing. And like, you don't understand that, like, it's this lack of individuality are no individuals. They went away from like, like with the ADL probably was like a fairly individual, same with like the, ACLU, like it was very individual centered. And then they went away from this group shit or towards this group stuff. And then you're like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You started ranking groups, and like certain groups are like, this is not fair.
But you hit the nail on the head. Those cannot. Jonathan Greenblatt cannot be reformed. You got to go.
Yeah, you go. Like it's like imagine it's like
people
are like
pretty
a sports team.
People
are
pretty on board with that too. If you fire the guy and you go new guys in, we're doing a different thing. People are usually like, okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, you go, okay, fine. Like at least you're paying attention. You're listening to us and got rid of the guy and maybe like, but they could just clean house. And like if a sports team, and
yeah. I mean, look at Twitter. It's a completely different company just because there's a new guy running it.
Yeah, like they could do that. They won't. But they could.
Why won't they?
Well, I don't know who he like.
Who does he fire?
Maybe there's a board or something. I don't know. I mean, they get funding from somewhere, so.
And he might have some Epstein shit on the board.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean, I'm sure that's one conspiracy is why he's in there. Is maybe he's